Act 2, Scene 7. I think he must have turned into an animal, because I can't find him anywhere looking like a man. My lord, he just left here. He was happy here, listening to a song. If that man, who's made up of conflicts, becomes musical, then there must be something wrong with the universe. Go find him. Tell him I want to speak with him. He saved me the trouble. Here he comes. Well, what's going on, mister? What kind of life do you lead that your poor friends must beg for your company? What? You look amused? A fool, a fool. I met a fool in the forest wearing motley. What a miserable world. As sure as I eat to stay alive, I met a fool who was lying in the sun and complaining about his fortune. He spoke smartly, though he was a fool. "Good morning, fool," I said. "No, sir," he said. "Don't call me a fool until heaven has sent me my fortune." Then he pulled a watch from his bag and, looking at it solemnly, said, "It's 10 o'clock. This way we can see how the world moves. Only an hour ago it was 9, and in another hour it will be 11. And so, from hour to hour we ripen, and from hour to hour we rot. And there's a story behind that." Hearing a fool speaking so contemplatively made me laugh non-stop for an hour. Oh, noble fool! A worthy fool! Motley is the only thing to wear. Who is this fool? A worthy fool. He's been a courtier and says, if ladies are young and pretty, they always know it. His brain is dry as a sailor's biscuit and crammed with all sorts of strange observations, which he presents in confused fashion. Oh, I wish I were a fool. I'm ambitious for one of those motley coats. Never. I know what you would do. What would I do besides good? You would be committing a wicked sin by chiding other people for sinning, because you yourself have been a terrible sinner. But if I cry out against pride in general, how can anyone say I'm accusing a particular person? Aren't we talking about a problem as vast as the sea, that keeps flowing until all the wealth in the world is almost used up by everyone showing off? What woman in the city am I talking about when I say that the clothes on a city woman's unworthy back are rich enough to suit a prince? Who can say I mean just her when all her neighbors are exactly like her? And when some low-life protests that his fancy clothes aren't my problem, isn't he basically admitting that I'm talking about him? Well then, tell me how I've wronged him. If I was right about him, he's the one who's done wrong. If he isn't guilty of the faults I'm talking about, well then my acquisitions fly by like wild geese, whom no one owns, since they don't apply to any man. But who is this? Stop, and eat no more. But I haven't eaten anything yet. And you won't until the needy eat. What kind of a fighter is this? Are you acting so boldly from hardship, or because you hate good manners? Why do you seem so lacking in civility? You were right the first time. My piercing distress has stripped me of smooth manners. But I wasn't raised in the forest, and I was somewhat well-bred. But stop, I say. Whoever eats this fruit before I've been taken care of dies. If you won't listen to reason, I'll have to die. What would you like? Gentlemanly manners have more sway around here than force does. I'm dying for food, so let me have some. Sit down and eat, and welcome to our table. Do you really speak like such a gentleman? I beg your pardon. I thought everything out here was wild, which is why I acted so stern and commanding. We have in fact seen better days. Sit down and take whatever will satisfy your needs. Then please put off your eating for some more time, while I, like a mother doe, find my fawn and bring it food. There is a poor old man who, purely out of love, has limped after me for miles. He's burdened by two debilitating evils, age and hunger. Until he's fed, I won't eat a thing. Go, find him. We won't touch a thing till you return. You see, we are not alone in our unhappiness. This wide, universal theatre has more sad plays than our own little scene. The whole world is a stage, and all the men and women merely actors. They have their exits and their entrances, and in his lifetime a man will play many parts. His life separated into 7 acts. In the first act he is an infant, whimpering and puking in his nurse's arms. Then he is the whining schoolboy with a book bag and a bright young face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. Then he becomes a lover, huffing and puffing like a furnace as he writes sad poems about his mistress's eyebrows. In the fourth act he is a soldier, full of foreign curses, with a beard like a panther, eager to defend his honor and quick to fight. On the battlefield he puts himself in front of the cannon's mouth, risking his life to seek fame that is as fleeting as a soap bubble. In the fifth act he is a judge, with a nice fat belly from all the bribes he's taken. His eyes are stern, and he's given his beard a respectable cut. He's full of wise sayings and up-to-the-minute anecdotes. That's the way he plays his part. In the sixth act, the curtain rises on a skinny old man in slippers, glasses on his nose, and a money bag at his side. The stockings he wore in his youth hang loosely on his shriveled legs now, and his bellowing voice has shrunk back down to a childish squeak. In the last scene of our play, the end of this strange, eventful history, our hero, full of forgetfulness, enters his second childhood, without teeth, without eyes, without taste, without everything. Welcome. Set the honorable old man down and let him eat. I thank you very much on his behalf.